Hey everybody, it's Wendy. Welcome. I'm so excited that you're here today. I have a really fun card for you. This card actually has a little story with it. In 2007, so almost 10 years ago now, I broke my back riding horses. And it's kind of a long, involved story of how it all happened. But the bottom line is there were lots of mistakes involved. You can read more about it on my blog. I broke my back. So I love horses. I think they're beautiful, majestic animals. But I'm not going to be riding them ever again. So when I saw this stamp set, Little Cuties, it had this really adorable little horse on it with the saddle. And I thought, I'm going to make a card using that. And then, of course, it has tons of other adorable images as well. But my favorite was definitely the horse. I kind of just skipped past the supplies there. The supplies are all listed below this video and over on my blog. Now there are new links below my videos that have all the supplies listed in them, except for the non-Stampin' Up! Supplies. You still have to go to my blog for those. But for the Stampin' Up! Supplies, you could literally go to the description of my videos now, click the link to purchase them right in my video description, and you're done. So that's pretty cool. So you don't have to go over to my blog if you don't want to, even though I would love you to visit me there. So I'm stamping the little birthday hat on first because I want to mask it and I want to stamp the horse over the top and I want the horse to look like it's wearing the birthday hat. So in order to do that, I had to create a mask. Now, I thought of this after the fact. And so here I am trying to create a mask on some dimensional paper because it's all I had next to me. And then I was like, that's not going to work because it's all like, it's not going to stick down and it's all mushy and the ink's coming off. So I looked over and I happen to have some of my handy dandy Post-it note paper sitting right there. So that worked perfect. So I just grabbed a piece of that Post-it note tape and stamped the little hat down, and I'm able to cut the hat out to make a mask. The Post-it note tape, the Copic markers, the foam tape, and the cardstock that I'm using today are all listed over on my blog. Now, I normally only use Stampin' Up's Whisper White thick cardstock or Whisper White regular cardstock. However, when I'm going to be doing Copic Coloring, I use Crafter's Companion Spectrum Noir cardstock. And the reason for that is because I need a usable, marker safe, I don't know what the right word is, cardstock when I'm using Copics. Unfortunately, Stampin' Up's cardstock has kind of like a waxy coating on top of it, which is perfect for stamping and perfect for everything else we do. But, and it's great for distress inks and all of that, but, or dye-based inks, but it doesn't work good with Copic markers because Copic markers need to be able to sink into the cardstock and move around, and that's how you get that blended look. So in order to achieve that, I needed to use a different cardstock. So the links to all of the supplies that I use that are not Stampin' Up! Related are over on my blog. Okay, I've stamped in Memento ink, Memento Tuxedo Black ink, because that is a Copic safe ink and Stampin' Up! Sells that, which is fantastic. And I'm going to mask off my horse. Now I've already pre-stamped and made a mask with this horse, and the mask I used for the horse is the Simon Says stamp masking paper. They sell sheets of masking paper. It's like 20 sheets for $10. I've had the same pack for 2 years now. I mean, it lasts forever. So pick one of those up if you need it. You could get it probably anywhere, but I just get it from Simon Says Stamp. Okay, so I'm inking up the background here using Soft Sky ink, and I'm going right over that mask, and you can see I have a paper towel underneath just to protect my work surface. And the hat is not masked. It doesn't really matter. This is such a light ink. It really doesn't matter if the ink gets on the hat because I can color right over it with my Copic markers, which is what I'll do. But I went ahead and sped up the inking and stuff or the ink blending and the coloring, because I know you guys don't want to watch this in real time because we would be here half the day. So Soft Sky ink, I'm just inking, inking, inking. I did cut this card front a little larger. It's actually cut at 4 1/4 by 5 1/2, but I'm going to end up trimming it down. So you'll see that too. So I'm just inking away and getting that blue background there. Now it's a little bit hard to see in the video. You can kind of see it, but it's a little hard to see because it's really light and soft and it kind of fades to white. And that's what I wanted. That was my goal. And then I'm going to take my other sponge and Wild Wasabi ink, and you can see I'm dabbing the ink off a little bit, and then I'm going to go in and ink up the bottom of this card with green. Obviously, green grass, blue sky, makes for a happy day, right? So I'm inking up the bottom with the Wild Wasabi, and there I went into hyper speed mode. Wouldn't you love to be able to move that fast? I know I always say that on my videos, but I can't help it because I would. It would be so awesome to be able to like flip a switch and be like, okay, I'm in super fast everything mode. Imagine how fast you could clean your house if you could move that fast. Anyways, so now I'm peeling away my horsey mask, trying to be very gentle with it so I can reuse it if I want to. And I'm going to go in with, now all my markers are going to be listed over on my blog. All the marker colors that I'm using are listed over on my blog. This is a C1, and I'm creating a bit of a shadow underneath this horse's hooves because I really want it to come across like the horse is grounded. It is walking on grass. So have to add a little bit of shadow there. And then we're going to do the other Copic coloring. Now I'm using E31 here, and I'm going to color my entire horse with E31 first. Everybody does Copic coloring a little bit differently. I prefer to cover my entire surface with my lightest color first because I believe that that allows the other inks to kind of flow in and blend well. Not everybody does that. People who are more advanced Copic marker colors, often I've seen them not do that. For me, I think it's a really great tip for a beginner, and it makes it a lot easier to blend your colors. So I color the entire space with the lightest color first, and then I go back in and I add all my shading. So the E31 is just going to go over the top of this whole horse. And you can see it's kind of light. I actually, when I first started coloring, I thought, I'm not sure about this color. Like, I don't know 100% if this is going to be the color I want my horse to be. But it ended up working out great, and you'll see that as we go along. So sometimes, all the time, just let me say, all the time, with Copic coloring, 90% of it is literally just trying stuff and seeing if it works. And if you have a color combination or something that works really well, jot it down in your Copic book. I have a little book that I keep track of like my colors and my blends and stuff like that. And jot it down and keep it. And then you can go back and use it again. Here I'm adding E33 to darken up some areas. Now I'm really not using a light source. So a light source would basically mean that I'm choosing a direction for the light to come from, and then I'm shading the areas that would be naturally shaded based on that light source. I'm not really going by that. I'm just kind of having fun coloring, letting it all go. So now I'm using E35, which is the darkest in these three colors, and I'm going and I'm shading right over the top of my E33, but not quite as far up, so that you still get the gradient look. You're going from the E31 to the 33 to the 35. Okay, so on the tail, you can see like in the middle of the tail, I left some light color there in the middle of the tail, and that's just to kind of create a highlight on this horse's tail, because I want there to be some contrast. Now I went really dark. So this is an E59. And I grabbed that for the tail and the mane and the forelock on the horse's head, so that the mane and tail and forelock would be really dark in comparison to the horse. I don't know if you're familiar with horse colors, but a bay horse, what we can call a bay horse, would have black legs and some kind of black around their nose, They're darker around their body, and then they have like black on their tail and mane and forelock. I was kind of going for that look. I didn't quite achieve it because I stayed a lot lighter on the body, but that's kind of the look I was going for. And I really love how it ended up turning out. It's a card, people. It's a card. So we don't care. It doesn't have to be biologically correct. It doesn't have to have the correct light source. It is a card. So I think often we take this a little bit too seriously, and it stresses us out, and we don't end up being creative and doing fun things with our card making because we're paranoid or something about the outcome. Who cares? It's a card. So I took the E31 and I blended back over the top of the entire horse, and that kind of added another layer of color, and it also blended out the E33 and the E35. Here I am using R17, I believe it's R17, to color the edges of the saddle, and then I've got R24, I think it is. I don't know. They're listed over on my blog to color the inside of the saddle. And I'm also going to add red to the hat here. And then the inside of the saddle, like I said, R24. And it's a little bit lighter than the edges. And I just thought the red would be really pretty and pop really nicely against our background and against that brown horse. I'm using 110, which is like super, super black color to do the hooves on this horse. And you could do a lighter color if you want. If I was really awesome at Copic Coloring, I would have done a bunch of shading here and made a highlight so it looked like his hooves were shining, but I'm not that fancy. So they're black because they're black. Horses' hooves are black. So that's what we ended up doing there. And then for the hat, I needed some other colors, and I realized this after I started the video, of course, so I had to run and grab those. But we're using a B24 for the hat on some of the lines and a Y18 or 17, I think it's 18, for some of the lines and the little tassel right at the top because it's just so stinking cute. So now I've got this red and blue and yellow hat. And then I'm going to stamp Happy, Happy Birthday, which is one of the sentiments from the stamp set, right here in front of the horse. And that pretty much completes my card. I just have to assemble now. So this makes a perfect little boy birthday card. I think it's so cute for a little boy's birthday, but really you could give it to anybody. Sorry about all the camera shaking. Really you could give it to anybody for their birthday. But really cute for a little boy or even a little girl, but I don't know, the colors just strike me as being little boyish. So you can see I'm trimming off 1/4 of an inch from the top and from the side, so that ended up making this panel 4 by 5 1/4. And then I'm going to assemble the card base. I'm using 4 1/4 by 11 inch cardstock, and this is Whisper White thick cardstock because it's a heavier cardstock, and I really like that. So we're going to crease that or burnish the edges. Burnish? Is that the right word? I think that's the right word. It sounds so funny. Okay, and now I'm using foam tape to pop up the front. Now, you guys have seen me use foam tape often. I use this often in replacement of dimensionals when I'm creating a card that has a huge front panel. The reason for that is because it's just easier and faster. So it's way faster to just put 3 strips of foam tape on the back of here than it is to put a whole bunch of little dimensionals and peel off the backing. Dimensionals are fantastic for smaller stuff, but they're a little bit hard for doing a big full panel like this. So that is the card for today. I have another version of this card over on my website. It's not a whole lot different. I gave this as a baby boy birthday, baby shower card without the party hat. So you can see that over on my blog. If you want to see other videos from me, click either of the images that you see here. Click on the little round circle if you want to subscribe to my YouTube channel. I hope that you do. Don't forget you can sign up to get emails from me, and those include free tutorials. There's a great free tutorial available right now, and you can get that by signing up to get my emails. go over to my website, sign up on the sidebar where there's a picture of me with a coffee cup at my computer and it says name and email. Thanks for hanging out. Bye-bye.